Beautiful friends, beautiful souls, I hope that you're having an amazing day today. We are only 3 weeks into the new year, and we have not at all been deprived of crazy world events and predictions coming into fruition. And as always, new predictions to feed your prediction addiction. Starting with, once again, we are discussing airplane incidents and accidents. As Spirit warned, we would continue to see throughout 2024. Including my vision that I had of a plane crashing into the side of a mountain. This just occurred in Afghanistan, taking out, allegedly, a Russian millionaire. So was it actually an accident? Because, that's the second Russian that died in a plane crashing into the side of a mountain. Is there any coincidence there? I bet there was. No coincidence at all, actually. Another plane was in the skies on fire, while there was another plane that made an emergency landing on a highway in Virginia. A plane in California went down in the water, taking out one of the Zoom executive's children. Older kid, I think he was a teenager. And then Japan, once again, another incident. That's 3 in a row. 3 strikes, you're out. So what's next for airplanes? And what really happened in Afghanistan and Japan? Is it going to actually be safe to fly? I'm going to let you know. I have a whole list. Visions and new predictions revolved around airplanes and air events that you're not going to want to miss. Perhaps we also gain some more clarity on the future from the eyes of the psychopaths who gathered at their yearly Psychopath Expo. Are you aware of the Psychopath Expo? It's held in Switzerland every year, and it's better known as Davos WEF meeting. And they're sure not shy at all in telling us their plans for humanity. Not for them, but for the rest of us. So, will anything they say and plan actually come into fruition, especially revolved around that whole NWO phrase that they've used quite often in past meetings and the most current meetings? And now we also have the elite, who we also found out the elite love their overpriced escorts. Yeah, so what is really happening with that whole Davos event? We're going to review some of that, some of their plans, talk about that, and talk about the economy and where it's heading. The winter storms that Spirit warned us would hit the Midwest and East Coast of the United States have hit once again. Now, at least 75 people have been unalived in these ice storms and snowstorms and severe cold in the United States in 13 different states, a combination of 75 people. And my friends there in Philly finally got a good measurable snow, as Spirit told us it was coming. It's their first one in years. About time. Guess what? There's a lot more to come. So hold on tight. There's lots more snow and ice on the way. And what about our friends in Europe and warnings for the UK and England? I also have warnings today for Australia. Is that about to hit them next? Are they about to be hit next? More weather warnings and predictions for you revolved around weather today. China was one of the places that Spirit warned of another large earthquake hitting. And they were just hit with a 7.0 quake. 7.1, depending on who you ask. That toppled buildings and caused havoc, power lines to fall over. A 5.3 quake hit Alaska. Could this actually be the quake that we all been watching for some time? Because you remember, Spirit said that there'd be a big quake in Alaska that would unleash a series of major global events. So is this the one? And what can we expect in the near future when it comes to earthquakes and perhaps even a tsunami? Remember Spirit's warning about pet food? And if you have a pet, you're not going to want to miss this. Mainly in the predictions, I told you that there was going to be an issue, big issues around pet food. And that pet food would be placed under a microscope. Finally, being actually monitored and seeing what's being put in your dog's food. A lot of your dog's food has sawdust in it and a bunch of other crap. That's why most pets, from my experience, pass from the big C. Now, could there be an issue with this? Because now there's new videos that have gone viral on TikTok claiming that a popular brand of food is tainted. But is it actually true? Do pet owners still need to be alarmed? Indeed they do, for sure, and I'm going to tell you why today, along with some clarity on this recent alleged tainted food, pet food. Have you heard of Baba Vanga? She is a Bulgarian prophet, or mystic as they would call it, and the blind prophet, most commonly called the blind prophet, and she passed away 26 years ago. Baba Vanga allegedly made definitely made some very eerie predictions that have come into fruition ever since. But also, she allegedly made some predictions for 2024. I don't know how that's possible, but we're going to take a look at what Baba Vanga allegedly predicts for 2024, along with my own new visions and predictions, and lots to share from my Team Spirit guides, along with talking about Elon Musk warning Tesla. Why though? Alec Baldwin being indicted, the collapse of the economy, and a whole lot more, friends, on this January 23rd, 2024, episode number 101, Tuesday's Predictions Update.
And y'all know what time it is? It's tea time, baby!
Welcome, beautiful friends, beautiful souls, Satnam, Hola. I hope that you're having a beautiful day so far. And if you're new here, my name is Joseph Tittel, aka Spiritman JT, and I welcome you with infinite love and gratitude. If you want accurate predictions, prophecy, truth, and content like today's content, and a whole lot of other great content, you found the perfect tribe. Smash that subscribe. You gotta smash the subscribe and make our tribe bigger, so that we can get this content out to others. Thank you for clicking the like button to show your love. Lots of time and energy goes into these shows and these podcasts. So please click that like button so that this gets out to more people and we can make our tribe much bigger than it is. And if you're new here, Tuesday's Tea Time is all about major world events and how they may align with predictions and prophecy, along with new predictions every week. I also put out a monthly prediction video and forecast for each month. So February's forecast will go out on Monday, next Monday. And also Stranger Things are happening every Thursday, where we look at creepy videos, ghost videos, demons caught on film, and a whole bunch of stuff, and analyze it and talk about it. So again, smash that subscribe button, hit the bell, and hit all so that you get notifications. Down below, you'll find all the links to my social media platforms. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Spotify, Rumble, and other places, including the Awaken Your Spirit community of supporters. The links down below. I thank all of my supporters who make all this free content possible. You can join the community down below on YouTube. You can also support this community on Spotify by hitting the support button. And please, if you're on Spotify, be sure to give me a follow on there as well. So, shall we move on now with, one other thing. Don't forget my newsletter. You're going to want to sign up for that newsletter. It's free, baby. It's free. You'll find inspirational messages, know what goes on during the different phases. Again, a monthly newsletter that lies out the astrology, numerology, and everything else, and you'll never miss content if you subscribe to the newsletter. I have upcoming classes that you're not going to want to miss. This Thursday starts Transform into Abundance. There's still a few slots available. You can check out my website at spiritmanjt.com. That is spiritmanjt.com. You cannot register for that class online. I think it expired, but you can send an email to office@josephtittel.com and we can get you registered for that or the master class. There's only one slot left for the master class. So check it all out down below. So shall we move on with episode number 101 of
Tea Time, baby!
It is January 23rd. And we're just weeks into 2024, and finally you may have noticed that the energy has lightened up a bit. The energy light codes that have come in back on the 11th have now been absorbed into our body, mind, and spirit. So now you shouldn't feel as tired or drained as you may have been feeling since the date the 11th of January. And finalizing that whole process of absorbing those light codes finalized over this past weekend. So now you should feel much more energized and much better than you did. Especially if you took the advice, drank lots of water, and nurtured yourself as much as you possibly can. That is of the utmost importance, especially in 2024. The 8 vibration of 2024 is all about bettering your health. Not about health issues like the 4-year in 2020, but the opposite. Doing things to better your health. Meditate to help you release stress and so forth. You may also now begin to notice that you have more clarity. that you're now once again seeing things in brighter colors. And in turn, you should be feeling quite joyful, knowing that the future is bright. So remember, in order to truly ascend to the highest levels of ascension, you must do the work, friends. You must do the work. Meditation is truly the key to it all. And if you missed my meditation that I did, calling back your power, you're going to want to utilize that meditation as much as you possibly can. I did that. Make sure you check it out. I'll leave a link up below at some point in time. Check the links that pop up for calling back your power. Again, you're not going to want to miss that. And I hope to get a new meditation out for Thursday's full moon. And this will be a special meditation to assist you in clearing blockages and healing. It is the goal to get that out. Hopefully I'll be able to, along with the Stranger Things is Happening weekly show on Thursday. The dreaded day referred to as Quitter's Day. Have you heard about Quitter's Day? That came and passed on the 17th. So-called experts say that it is by January 17th that the majority of folks failed at their New Year's resolutions. But personally, I refuse to accept this. For sometimes we jump in and out of things. Sometimes we fall off the wagon and then we have to get back on that wagon. And it happens. Sometimes it takes a few times before we actually completely dedicate ourselves to something. So they try to make you feel bad about yourself. Don't feel bad about yourself. Little changes, friends. Little changes every day lead to amazing, huge, transformational changes. So with the full moon approaching in a few days, on the 25th, we have our first opportunity in 2024 to set intentions and allow the waning moon cycle to help us to clear and to help you to clear things that you wish to clear, physically, energetically, and emotionally, of course. So you got to take advantage of this, friends. And instead of being so hard on yourself, because so many people are so hard on themselves, criticizing yourself, tarnishing your own beauty, give yourself a little credit. Give yourself a lot of credit. Because you likely deserve at least that, right? So remember, the more we focus on our blessings, the more we receive. The more we bitch and complain about things, the more universe gives us to bitch and complain about. So remember to give yourself credit. Very, very important for all of your achievements, both the big ones and the small ones. We will have much more to give ourselves credit for in the future when you start doing that. So again, focus on all the things. Give yourself credit for all the big achievements, little achievements in your life, no matter what it is. Maybe you said you weren't going to eat chocolate today and you didn't. Give yourself credit. The more you pay attention and give yourself credit, again, it's the law of attraction. The more universe is going to bless you with blessings that will give you more to give credit for. So just like predictions, if you tap into the fear of predictions, it's only going to bring them closer into fruition on a personal level. See, it doesn't have to be that way. You can tap into them in a positive manner, as we do here, and we can learn what is coming, prepare ourselves, and also we have the power to shift things, not only in our lives personally, but we have the power to shift things in the world by holding things in a positive light and positive visions for the future. And that is my message for you today. Let us move on to trains, planes, and automobiles. So is it safe to fly? Fly, Captain, fly on this magic mystery tour. So once again, we are seeing way too many incidents and accidents revolved around airplanes. Seems a little creepy. And you remember Spirit did say it would be mostly the smaller airplanes? Well, two of the past predictions and visions came into fruition. You may recall me seeing a plane flying through the air on fire a while back. This prediction came into fruition when a Miami cargo plane's engine caught fire shortly after the takeoff. Check it out. Pretty wild, right? Well, thankfully, nobody was injured and the plane safely landed. Remember, I had a vision of a plane crashing into the side of a mountain, which did happen. It happened to that Russian guy. I can't remember his name, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Who they believe, some people believe is still alive. And everybody knows at this point that the leader of Russia was responsible for that. I think maybe even took responsibility for it. They took him out completely. He's not alive. He's definitely gone. So regardless, whether he's gone or alive, Spirit said that this would happen again. And it did. This time it was in Afghanistan, where a plane crashed into the side of a mountain and the flames. And interesting, when you watch the video clip, what I noticed is you hear a lot of gunfire in the background. A lot of gunfire. So what's that all about? And then the plane went down? Come on. So, go check out the footage online, go look it up. And listen, you can hear all the gunfire, rapid gunfire in the back. So I thought that was kind of really, really interesting. So also, if you remember in my predictions, I talked about assassins, and that you may recall me saying that we were going to see so many high-powered elite and politicians dropping like flies. Some resigning, some being pushed out, some being voted out, and some being taken out completely, if you know what I mean. So Spirit told us that there was going to be another plane again flying into the mountain scenario. And we saw that in Afghanistan. And is there a coincidence that happened? And the other one, and they're both Russian millionaire, and then the other guy? Kind of strange, right? But what got me, like I said, is in the footage where you hear all the rapid firing. That plane was shot down. I don't care what anybody says. Whether it was purposely, accidentally, or whether it was a specific hit. Probably not, but maybe. I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know much about the millionaire. I didn't go down that rabbit hole. Didn't really care to go down that rabbit hole. Maybe y'all can inform us down below in the comments. So, we also had another quite sad crash of a plane in California that went into the water. And apparently, it was an electric plane built from a kit. Did you know that? Did you know you could buy an electric plane kit? I mean, I could see for a remote airplane, like a remote drone, but a plane that you actually get in and build yourself, it sounds a little weird to me. And it definitely was, because, again, the plane went down. I think there were some survivors of that one, or no, that was the one in Russia. There were 4 survivors, or in Afghanistan. This was 2 young men. One of those young men was the son of a Zoom executive, so still connected to the elite. This is what we're going to witness. And Spirit says that. We're going to also witness not just the elite personally, but a lot of their kids going and exiting in this life. Some from incidents and accidents like that. Many of them you will see in the near future connected to Hollywood that are from drugs. Some of them, of course, they'll attempt to cover up, but the truth will come out. And then Spirit shows me TMZ logo in my brain. So something's going to be coming out. That's coming to me now. That's the good thing about doing this every week. Things, not only do I work hard on getting this information together, but more information comes to me while we're chatting. And that's what Spirit just showed me. Big TMZ things coming up real soon. 2 big TMZ things. I told you Hollywood's going to fall. I've been telling you that for a while. And big arrests coming out of Hollywood. So I would expect, well, we just saw Alec Baldwin arrested, right? So going back to the planes, this incident that happened in California, a very sad incident, actually. I mean, just imagine if that was your kid. His name was Isaac Zimmerman, 27 years old, with his longtime girlfriend, Emma, when they boarded their homemade aircraft piloted by their friend, Lachi Ferreira, who also passed in the crash last week, along with his fiancée, Cassidy. So, yeah, it was 4 people that perished. Zimmerman was the son of Johann Zimmerman, 59-year-old head of global education marketing for Zoom. He resides in the neighborhood in a $1.1 million home. I was actually surprised. I'm like, that's kind of really not that much for where they live. And what real estate is right now, right? It's insane. Insane in the membrane. Insane in the brain. Anyway, once again, for the 3rd time, another incident occurred at the same Japanese airport. According to people in the comments, I tried to find it and I couldn't find anything on it. When you look it up, it brings up the first 2 incidents. But my friends in Japan told me there were a 3rd one, and I'll take their word for it because they live there. 3 strikes, you're out. It's like baseball. What's going on at that airport? Almost seems like it's been like sabotaged or cursed in some way. There's definitely some kind of energy there that's not good at that airport. So hopefully we can hold that airport in a ball of white golden light and kick out that dark energy that's there. I don't know how it got there, but, again, the Hopi natives said portals would open and dark entities would enter onto the earth. And that's happening. There ain't no doubt about it. So, moving right along. Spirit says that's not going to be the last for Japan either. Actually, I did find it. It was a Korean airplane. I believe this is it. A Korean airplane clipped wings of a Cathay Pacific jet at an airport in Japan's northern island on Tuesday amid heavy snow. There it was. I forgot I did find it. So, there's a pretty crazy amount of plane crashes, friends, over the past week, just as Spirit said, and mostly smaller planes. And I pulled it up. I couldn't believe the amount of airplane crashes there were. Again, mainly smaller ones, just since the beginning of the year. Crazy amount. And, of course, living in the United States, it's pulling up mainly United States, but, they're everywhere. I found some in other countries, too. And it seemed odd, just like Spirit said. It seemed very, very odd. So another one crashed in the ocean off. We talked about that one. This is the one we missed. There was one plane that made an emergency landing on a highway safely, thankfully, in Virginia. And again, many more that were overseas. So, and then we had the one with the hatch falling off. How creepy is that? I got to fly in a couple months. Creeps me out. So here's some new information for you, revolved around predictions and visions that I had. Spirit warns that we will see more and more, mostly small planes, to the point that new legislation is going to be passed and strictly enforced when it comes to pilots and licensing. This will begin in one country, likely Japan or United States, and then, of course, it'll spread globally, and the FAA will insist that these laws are international laws. So what this is going to do, friends, is this is going to make it much more challenging for new pilots to get into the air. Much more challenging. And we already know they're underpaid as it is, and they will eventually, years from now, Spirit says, start restricting how many small planes can be in the air at one time. And I'm sure there is a restriction, but they're going to heavily restrict this according to Spirit. And they're going to limit how many small planes are allowed to use runways in the future. A lot less than what they currently allow. At least a 50% cut eventually is what Spirit shows me. Although, you can guess this is not at all, of course, going to affect the elite millionaires and their multi-million-dollar jets. They get to fly and they get to have the worst carbon footprints on the whole entire planet. You know that. The global elite have the worst carbon footprint on the planet. But they want us all to stop eating meat and doing all those things, but they're allowed to. They're allowed to fly their private jets and hire escorts at Davos in Switzerland, sucking up the carbon footprint. But we're not allowed. Something wrong with this picture, friends. Something wrong with this picture. So I have been telling you for a while. Did I finish that? Yes, there's more stuff, more legislation, more laws being passed. I've been telling you for a while that I see a small plane carrying someone famous, either a famous musician or politician. So I thought I'd touch on that, being we were on that subject. Like Trump, for example. I compared the vision that I had, if you recall, to JFK Jr.'s plane crash. Except in one of these instances, and I say one of these instances because I do feel that there's going to be dual incidents, two separate ones. And it may only be crew members aboard one of them. And the star, or we'll say Taylor Swift. She popped in my brain. She's not aboard, but her staff ended up being. She didn't catch the plane. Just an example. Because their feet never leave the ground, is what Spirit said. Someone's feet never leave the ground for whatever reason. No, again, I see two different incidences. And I feel that one of these planes crashes in off the shores, off the water, just like, again, JFK Jr. So what popped in my mind is, like, for example, Puerto Rico or Florida, not making it, completely to Florida and crashing along the coast there or along the coast of islands. The Caribbean, I got pulled to that area for one of these crashes, to one of these high-profile people. So Florida, again, is just an example, while the other one felt to me like it's over a remote area. So two separate accidents, whether they're accidents or not, that's another story, but perhaps an actual hit, one of them. I say this because it reminds me of the plane that went down in Pennsylvania in 2001. You remember they said we know that the government took that down. We know it. Like, come, it's obvious. I mean, they probably had to, but regardless, just tell us you had to. They didn't want to get sued, I guess. But I feel they're going to blame this on weather. So again, to re-elaborate on this vision, I see 2 small plane crashes involving high-profile people, either somebody famous like a musician or actor and politician. One of these is off the coast of the water, like JFK Jr., and many people believe JFK Jr.'s plane was taken down, and that's probably going to be the case with this, perhaps. And then the other one is over a remote area. That actually would be the one that would be more likely taken down. Maybe both. I really don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But that's what Spirit showed me. Now I feel another plane, a plane full of passengers, unfortunately, will accidentally be taken down by a missile. Pay close attention as to who they blame for this. Likely, they'll blame Russia or Iran. But investigations will be attempted to be covered up, according to Spirit. But eventually the truth will prevail when the rocket is tracked back to the real culprits, which I think is the U.S. But I don't know. I really don't know. But that's how they're going to find out. This has to be somewhere over in Europe, I would imagine. Middle East, one of those 2 places. I didn't really see. I just got the information Spirit gave me. I got another plane. I see another plane. I believe this is small plane. But again, I'm not clear of this vision because I was witnessing this vision as if I'm watching off in the distance. And as I'm watching off in the distance, the plane hits the upper part of a building. It clips the upper part of a building. And I see it going down and clipping the building, followed by, I hear a crashing sound. I see flames and way too much smoke to see what's actually happening. So I can't tell whether this plane actually landed in the building, like, you know, that's where its final destination was, on top of the building, or whether it clips the building and goes down on the other side of the building. I couldn't tell because of the vision and the smoke and everything in that vision. I have no idea where this is. But by looking at my vision, I would no doubt that there's going to be a video of this, exactly as my vision showed. And that's how I would interpret that one. And I also see 2 helicopters colliding with each other. Again, I believe this is going to be 2 separate incidences, one involving military choppers. This feels like an actual accident to me and not related to any conflict. They might be in conflict, but they're not literally in combat at the time. You know, it's an accident is what Spirit showed me. The other helicopter crash, and it might not be 2. It could be 2 colliding, but it may not be. But I saw a plane crashing that involves a Hollywood movie set filming. The filming of a Hollywood movie set. So, keep our eyes out for that. And let us move on. Moving on to the wacky world of weather. The winter storms that Spirit warned would hit the Midwest of the United States and the East Coast are once again slamming parts of our country. Now at least 75 people have been unalived in 13 states. My friends in Philly finally got their measurable snow for the first time in years. And then ice, and then snow. Or rain, then rain. It always rains in Pennsylvania, I swear. Again, as Spirit warned. Now remember we said that we would see more and more ice storms this year. That it would be a bad year of ice this season, the entire season. And it is, one hit after another. And Spirit says there's much more to come. Much more ice to come. Not just in the United States either. I see ice storms hitting parts of Russia, Europe. It's going to be all over the place. It's as if we're being iced over. It's like the Ice Age. Now check out this footage. This footage is in St. Louis, Missouri, and it's of a fire truck turning into a 28-ton unstoppable sled. And ice covers the roads. In the other part of this video, you'll see the ice covering the roads. This is right outside of Oklahoma City. Crazy, right, friends? Crazy. Crazy ice storms. I don't miss ice storms. Well, we get them here in the canyon, actually. We had them last year. You know what's really cool? It's when the ice is all in the mountain out front. The Rock Butte, actually. And during the day, when the sun hits it, you can hear it cracking. It sounds like the whole mountain's cracking. And then if you're really blessed, you'll get to witness it coming down like a slide and crashing. It's so cool. It rattles the whole neighborhood. It's pretty darn cool. Pretty cool. Love living out here. Love living out here. You may also recall my warnings for California and for floods and severe floods, mudslides, and so forth. Check out this footage. This is Southern California. Freeways were literally shut down due to flooded arteries. Crazy. Well, what's crazier is some of the predictions I'm about to give you revolved around the wacky world of weather. California, in the West Coast, is going to continue to get battered with severe weather and flooded streets. From South California to North California, including issues around Los Angeles. This will bring about rock and mudslides, including one right along the coast. And in my vision, it appeared that this rock slide was right on the coast, and it looked like the whole mountain slid down in a way. Kind of like what just happened in China. I think I have a picture. I'll show you that in a bit. Kind of like that, except it was steeper, and there was a little road there, and the whole road was taken out. That was in California. I wouldn't also expect that there could be definitely some rock or mudslides right in the Hollywood Hills area of California. Perhaps this will be what causes the sign to fall. Remember my visions of the Hollywood sign dropping one letter at a time? And it was one letter at a time, and then they all fell. It was like a couple letters, one at a time, and then they all fell. I took that as being symbolic of a fall of Hollywood, which we are witnessing right after those visions. They had the big writer's strike, and look what else is happening. We see Baldwin getting indicted, and lots more to come from there. But let's stick to the weather for a minute. Let's stick to that. Los Angeles, again, I saw lots of issues and problems around that and the mudslide. I see two massive winter storms accompanied by heavy winds both in North America and over Europe between the UK and France. They will also be dealing with lots of snow and ice issues in a few weeks throughout Europe. Although, expect an odd, very short record warmth followed by record cold. That's in Europe, which is a big area to cover, but we covered the whole area. So one of these huge storms in the United States appears to come from the northwest, like up towards like Washington, and gain strength coming across the country, kind of sort of diagonally and then sticking towards the middle, towards the Midwest. This is going to bring a record tornado activity with at least a dozen or more repeated twisters. In one of my visions, I saw two twisters like here, over here together, and another one over here off in the distance. So that was kind of weird. And again, if Spirit shows me these visions, usually they come into fruition with videos that end up going viral, which is really wild. So one of these visions, I see too close for comfort with these tornadoes. They were too close for comfort, if you ask me. And again, I saw the third one off in the distance. I also want to warn our friends in Texas of sudden random twisters from a separate system, a completely different system. And this feels like, to me, I was close to Houston, Texas. For our friends down under in Australia, mate, I see several huge destructive storms, more like cyclones, that are going to bring more severe, I don't know where the more came in. I guess if I said more, then it would be areas that were hit by severe flooding in the past. Especially high rivers. I saw rivers flooding and rivers overflowing. I saw high winds that knock out power in some areas for weeks on end. So for several weeks, they're going to lose power in different parts of Australia, probably in the more remote areas, I would assume. February feels like a very stormy down under, if you know what I mean, our friends in Australia. This is going to have a huge effect, Spirit says, along with coming severe heat that they're going to be experiencing in about a month or so. This is going to have a huge effect on their agriculture, only driving prices up even more. Western Australia and Queensland jumped out at me the strongest. February's winter weather will cause a huge strain on power grids. So, big power outages are coming again. The strain, along with severe weather, is going to bring a record amount of winter outages. Not just in the United States either, over there in Europe as well, in India and other places. But in some states, power outages will be to blame due to freezing solid, things freezing solid, but I just had a brain freeze. They will be to blame for people actually freezing solid in their own homes. So take care of your elderly friends. If you have a power outage, make sure they are warm. and cuddled up in blankets. Bring them to your house to keep them warm, whatever. Because you'll feel really sad when you find out that they're frozen solid in their home, right? So now, let's move on from storms to volcanic eruptions and earthquakes. Because have you seen this footage? I meant to show you this last week. This footage is of Iceland's volcano eruption, erupted for a second time, as predicted. And now, this is coming way too close for comfort to nearby town, burning homes in its path, as you see. Crazy clip there, crazy clip. Spirit told us that Iceland would blow twice, and it did. But we still await for that massive La Palma-like eruption that Spirit told us we were going to see. So we hold tight for that. 2. Spirit said there's going to be 2 now. 2 now. 1 in the near future. I'm thinking somewhere towards late February, early March. In April, things are going to be very unstable when it comes to the Earth's tectonic plates and volcanic activity. And Spirit just said all that to me now. A chatty bunch they are indeed, a chatty bunch. So China is being slammed this week. And Spirit warned us that China would have its hands full with Earth and weather events. And they do, and they're going to continue. Including another massive earthquake that they just had in China, 7.0, 7.1, depending on who you ask, which toppled buildings and power lines in China, along with a separate incident of a massive mudslide. Check that out. Massive mudslide where thousands of locals are digging through the rubble to rescue others. China will be hit hard from this year, 2024, from weather, earthquakes, and other Earth-related events. A quake is going to hit near their big city, Beijing, along with dealing with more severe flooding in Beijing and surrounding areas. That causes at least 2 dams to actually burst in China. 1 dam that burst takes out a small village. China is also going to lose a very important bridge. I don't know how. I'm guessing from an earthquake. But Spirit said it was a very important bridge that China was going to be forced to shut down due to damage. So I don't know if that damage is from water or that damage is from a quake. I kind of thought more like a quake. And I thought that had something to do with the surrounding area of Beijing. Earthquake activity is going to increase this week, and I told you it would, to expect something large right around the 25th. We're days away, and China just got hit with a big one. I would tell you to expect another big one to hit sometime this week, especially on the 25th. If you remember my January prediction video, I talked about this particular week being very active with earthquakes. I think I specifically said the 22nd to the 27th. I'd have to go back and look, but definitely 22nd was the start of it. And that was yesterday, and that's when China got hit. I'm thinking that they're a day ahead of us, so yeah, yesterday. Crazy, right? So expect something. Expect the sun to start flaring up soon too, Spirit just said. When the sun flares up and the big sun flare hits, we always know that a massive earthquake's coming afterwards. So, anyway, moving right along. Spirit says we will. That whole Turkish quake that we saw, that was the really big one last year. There were several, actually. Too many. There'll be more this year, Spirit just said. More than there were last year with big ones. It'll increase at least by 1 more each year. 2 more this year than last year. And all that. Spirit, I told you, they're a chatty bunch today, y'all. Did you meet my friends? Did you meet my friends? My friends. My spirit friends. Anyway, yeah, we saw what happened in Turkey, which that hit. And Spirit said we were going to see something similar around the same time. After a huge sun flare is what I said last year. And I said the same scenario. I said there'd be a sun flare, and I forget if it was the full moon. I can't remember, but I specifically said there'd be an earthquake on that day, and there was. Crazy. And that day was February 6, 2023. Spirit says something, same scenario playing out that we'll witness in the near future. So right around the same time, maybe this week. Wouldn't surprise me. So let us move on to our beautiful pets. My beautiful pet's over my shoulder. She's my angel now. Precious Mary Jean. I miss her so much. So much. More than I ever would have thought I would. I knew I would, but not as bad as I do. But anyway, let's talk about our pets. Or your pets, because I don't have one no more. Only Spirit pets. And their food. Because I can't recall If it was 2023 predictions that I said this, or I mean, not 2024 predictions, or whether I said this in a December episode of Tea Time, but it was definitely within the past month that I said this, where Spirit told us that we needed to be extremely mindful of the food that we purchase for our pets. It was a big warning for pet owners. One warning was that we would witness some type of an illness that would hit pets, not associated with the food, but we saw there would be an illness. And we did see that. We saw that respiratory bug that's hitting dogs specifically. That's like a more severe version of kennel cough. So I don't know what's happening with that. I haven't paid attention, but I know that broke out soon after Spirit told us that we were going to witness that. But Spirit also told us that we were going to see an incident like we saw many years ago. Remember many years ago, pets, dogs specifically, were passing away, and it was linked to the food? Well, that's what Spirit said we were going to see again. We were going to see big concerns revolved around that. And in turn, this would put the pet food industry under a bigger microscope. About darn time. That's what it needs to be. And again, look at what you feed your dog. Would you feed that? Would you eat that? No, you wouldn't. So now there's a viral video on TikTok that's claiming that a popular pet food brand, Purina to be exact, is tainted. That's the rumor on it, the viral rumor. But is it actually true? Is it actually true? Because many people believe it, because people believe anything half the time. There's still people that believe it was aliens 10 feet tall at the Miami Mall. But is it true? That is the question. Well, here's a statement put out directly by Purina manufacturers that says, pet parents continue to be understandably scared by an online rumor that there has been an issue with Purina pet foods. This rumor is false, and we are saddened to see the confusion and fear that this has caused for pet owners. There are no health safety issues with our products, and they can continue to be fed with confidence. If you have any questions or concern, please contact our team. And it goes on and on. I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but they say that it's not true. So, and I don't know anybody personally that's had issues with it. But I will tell you what Spirit warns for future things, not connected to Purina at all, but separately in general, again, to be mindful. So even though that this is an alleged hoax, it's still going to stress people out. And I want to stress to all the pet owners out there, whether you have a doggy, a kitty, or whatever, to be extremely mindful of the food that you purchase for your pets. Much of it now is coming from China, and it's being packaged under many major brand names. And it is the imports from China that will end up being the toxic food claiming innocent animals' lives. So, how do we track that? I have no idea. Just don't feed your dogs that kind of food. Because many of you asked and have been asking and asked in comments what I fed my precious Mary Jean. Well, I'm not going to promote any specific food brands on here at all, but I will say that I fed her when she was having really big issues about 2 years ago. I started giving her freeze-dried food made by allegedly a doctor, and she loved it. That changed. I saw a big change in her from that. But then she got tired of that food, and I had to feed her something different again, and she's always been fed very good foods. She actually had a digestive issue when she was younger, and for 2 years, she got chicken and rice for dinner. And then I got her back onto different foods. There's so many amazing different foods out there that are natural and good and healthy for your pet. Or, you can make a big batch every week for your pet. But you got to be aware, because I wouldn't doubt that they end up putting fentanyl in dog food. That's just popped in my brain. I hope not. Pet food, not dog food, just pet food in general. Because, China, you never know. I'm just going to move on. I'm not going to say I was going to say something, but I'm not going to say it. I'm going to move on to the crazy psychopath expo that took place in Switzerland. The Davos New World Disorder. Not order, disorder. Yes, the Davos and their New World Disorder. They're creepy and they're kooky. They're all together ooky. The Davos family. Da-da-da-dum. Sorry, I crack myself up sometimes. All the time, actually. So last year, Davos, they predicted that there was going to be a recession for the United States and a drop in sales. And it actually ended up being the exact opposite. Now they're predicting, these globalist elite, an optimistic economy. Now they're claiming the opposite, claiming that sales and such are going to grow this year. So are we going to see the opposite once again? I guarantee you we do. They do that on purpose. See, so is this kind of the new form of the WEF, the WEF's new form of deception, to tell us the opposite of what's actually going to happen? Because the world's woken up to this whole Psychopath Expo that occurs every year, the Davos event. And then people now are catching on. They're more mindful. And I ask you all to be even more mindful of the evil, sinister plans that they have that are truly being orchestrated by them, the global elite. Everybody knows it. So, of course, Al Gore is a huge part of the Davos push, cutting CO2. Even though CO2, actually, if you do your research or you know anything about science, CO2 is actually what makes crops and forests flourish. How does that make any sense? See, people believe anything you tell them. That's the problem. Not all people, of course, not all y'all here, but, you know, the majority, the sleepers. So even though it does make plants flourish, they're telling us we need to cut it. Why? They want to kill all the plants. We know Bill Gates wants to bury trees for our climate. I don't know why you would bury trees, but he does want to do that. He put millions of dollars into doing that, actually. So this is to remind us, you know, this is why they remind you of Gore's 2006 film. I want to remind you of that, The Inconvenient Truth. So many of the things he said, actually pretty much everything he said in that video and that he predicted was going to happen within the next 2 decades, well, none of it's happened, friends. And it's been 18 years since that documentary has been put out. Not a single thing in that documentary has changed much on the earth, other than there's been definitely an increase of storm activity. But we also know that they have their weather modification systems. So check out this video clip of Mr. Gore.
So you know the conference in Dubai where you did such great coverage ended with an agreement to phase out fossil fuels. Some of those who signed up to that pledge are now trying to claim it was optional and trying to walk it back a little bit. But it's an important commitment that must be kept. As for your question, will it fall down the agenda? I don't think so. Mother Nature has other intentions. Unfortunately, the climate-related extreme weather events, they're underway right now, today, every day. And we're continuing to add a huge additional amount of heat-trapping pollution to the sky every single day. The good news is that once we get to true net zero and stop adding, the temperatures will stop going up almost immediately with a lag of as little as 3 years.
If anything that he said in that clip is even slightly the truth, then I would like to say to him and all of his friends, why don't you try? Don't even try. Why don't you commit like you're trying to make us commit against our will to stop flying your private jets all over the planet for just 1 year, all of you elite. Stop driving your private jets around the planet for 1 year. And let's see if that makes a difference. Because, you know, in reality, we know it won't. Because if it did, they'd be taking their own advice instead of pushing us into their laws and their legislation to control the whole entire planet. Which they will fail. They will fail. We hold that in the light. So, you know, it's crazy. They never address their own carbon footprints. Never. They only address ours. They don't address them eating meat. They address us. They served fine filet mignon and all kinds of fine steaks at Davos. But you're not allowed to have that. They had the top escorts fly in from all over the world, getting, $900 an hour, $2,500 a night, and you couldn't find one anywhere, even the ones that were flown in. Tells you a lot about them, don't it? Tells you a lot. And I bet you they shipped in a whole bunch of little ones, too. I guarantee you. We should, somebody needs to go there. I bet you there's underground tunnels, and they tunneled them in. I'll put money on it. I'll put money on it. No doubt. Because they built that little town, that little ski town for themselves. So, you know they got something going on there. And you probably can't get near it to spy on them. Not even with a drone. Somebody needs to do that. It's a really good idea. That idea just came into my mind. So do you think the elite are actually going to track their own carbon footprint? No, of course they're not. Along with following those future laws that they pass to limit your carbon footprint? No, they're not going to have to do that. Only you're going to have to do that. So check out this creepy clip. If you don't believe they're already doing this, this is actually from last year's Davos event.
Developing through technology an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So, individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
You know they got that baby up and running already, that little carbon tracker. You know it. It's probably already on your phone, secretly stashed on your phone. They probably hide it. Or you're punched into some major computer system. Well, we're all punched into the major computer system. Now, of course, we know Mr. G is a big backer and pusher of the, New World Disorder, the WEF, which is more like their world prison. That's what their goal is. So listen to what he says about artificial intelligence.
Rich versus to developing countries is that there's a bigger teacher shortage in Africa than elsewhere, a bigger doctor shortage. And so not only will we invent new tools using AI like the ultrasound, we will provide health advice and directly, in their local African language, fully tailored to the conditions in those countries. We will provide an AI doctor. We will provide an AI tutor. And already we've funded lots of Africans to do pilot studies and to take the very best technology and get it out at about the same time as it'll happen in the rich world. In fact, in a few cases, rich world regulations may make it roll out slower than in countries like India or in Africa. So it's a race, but it's a race for good. And, I couldn't be more thrilled.
So it kind of sounds good, or they make it sound good, that artificial intelligence can help people in remote countries like Africa to help them achieve seeing doctors and such, or getting them a tutor or such. It all sounds kind of good, but really? So if this is for the good of the world, how are the elite actually profiting from this system? How is Mr. G going to profit from this system? Because there's got to be a profit in it, right? Of course there is. And if they're providing the technology and the equipment, they sure in the heck are not doing it for free, friends. They're not doing it for free. We know they're not doing it for free. And even if the doctor is fully artificial intelligence, which I also find creepy, I am sure it is getting a weekly salary. The AI, or the people that run the AI, of course. So they're not doing this for free, friends. They're not doing this. And remember, they can program these systems and these AI doctors to do, say, and prescribe anything they wish for it to push on the people, whether it's truly healthy or not. Now, I'm all for an AI that actually helps us to truly become healthy without medications, not with medications, unless it's necessary. Of course, yeah, there are many life-saving medications without a doubt. But there's many that are actually destroying people's health even more. Or whether it was the doctor that wasn't prescribed the wrong medication. I mean, it happens. It definitely happens. So it's something to be mindful of. But how would AI be at that? Kind of creepy. Very, very creepy. They control everything. And I could do a whole video on the whole Davos thing itself. But I'll leave you with this.
It's time to plan the future. Not their futures, your future.
That order seems to not be the order anymore. We are on the way to a new order, so we are between orders.
A new world order. So what will that look like?
Maybe this is the old kind of teacher me coming out. I think of this a little bit more about a transition of eras rather than a transition of orders, but the two are kind of cousins of one another. The reason I draw the distinction is because I don't think the international order built after 1945 is getting replaced wholesale with some new order. It will obviously evolve as it has evolved multiple times over the decade since 1945. But I do think in a more sharp and distinctive way, we are moving into a new era, and that's what I talked about in my remarks, that we are, the post-Cold War era has come to a close. We're at the start of something new. We have the capacity to shape what that looks like, and at the heart of it will be many of the core principles and core institutions of the existing order, adapted for the challenges that we face.
We were the gatekeepers. We very much owned the facts as well.
Do we need elections? Because we know what the result will be.
We will learn how to engineer bodies and brains and minds.
Moving on to a little bit of prophecy for you today. The Bulgarian mystic, better known as Baba Vanga, was a blind woman who was said to possess extraordinary gifts in predicting the future. Even though she passed 26 years ago, her predictions are still said to still be coming true. So what did Baba Vanga allegedly predict for 2024? Like myself, Baba Vanga stated that there would be many attempts to take out Putin completely. But Vanga said that she had a vision that he would be taken down, supposedly in 2024, by someone within his own country. Well, of course, we know that that would be the case if that were to happen. This would not at all surprise me either, friends. This would not at all surprise me. He is in his 7th year of ascension, spiritual ascension. We can pass in any of the numbered years, 9 and 4 are the most common. But he is in the 7th year of ascension, so it's very possible. But in my mind, and looking at numbers, it would be likely that Putin would be taken out completely, or at least taken out of power, in 2026. 2026 is his 9th year. But I'd say definitely anytime between now and 2026, it's very, very likely. Remember, Spirit told us that so many leaders would drop from power, that everything would shift. And there's 42 countries with big, massive votes going on this year. So we'll have to see and keep an eye and see if Baba Vanga is correct on that. Baba Vanga also predicted that there would be an increase of terror-related events, mainly in Europe. Now, if you recall in my channeled predictions last year, I think right around October, I saw 2 major terror events hitting places such as France, the UK, Germany, and Poland. I even had visions of some type of a chemical-related explosion. Remember that vision? Well, not that you remember. I remember. It was very disturbing because I saw it doing something to people's skin and stuff, if you remember. It was a very creepy, creepy vision. And that was in, I'm pretty sure, my channel prediction video. So Baba Vanga predicted that a big country in Europe would carry out a biological test and attack in 2024. So could this be another repeat of 2020? And not necessarily like something going boom. Although that was my vision, and that could be what's in that boom, what the chemical that's in it, that could be what it is. I don't know. I just know what it did to people's skin in my vision. So we'll have to wait and see and pray that that doesn't come into fruition. According to the alleged predictions from Baba Vanga, 2024 would be a year of great economic crisis. And we see that coming into fruition. We saw that last year, past few years, actually. Something that's been going on and that we know has been going on. Although Baba Vanga actually stated that the reason for the collapse would be related to debt levels, geopolitical tensions, and economic power shifting from the West to the East. Very interesting. And we know China wants to take over. They're doing a pretty good job again. And once again, like myself, Baba Vanga predicted major medical advancements and a cure for the big C. I don't like to say the word because I don't like to feed it energy. The big C, y'all know what it is. Spirit said that there would be a cure for that this year, if you recall, in the 2024 predictions. She also said that there would be, and predicted that there'd be new treatments coming this year that would be invented to help and assist Alzheimer's patients. That would be wonderful, wouldn't it? Some folks call these predictions. I know we likely do. I do. And there's others that call them words of wisdom. And then there's a lot of people out there that like to fit her words and her predictions into current times and world events. They do the same exact thing with Nostradamus. Every year you see 2024 Nostradamus predictions. Nostradamus never put years in any of his books. So that's false. Anytime you see a video like that, it's clickbait. They're just trying to get you to click on it. So they add that. They do that, especially on social media. Try to fit things to certain years. And I know, as being a spiritual medium for over 30 years, that's the hardest thing to do with predictions is put a date on things. That's why most of the time I don't put dates on things unless Spirit tells us. And certain dates, Spirit does give us dates and tells us a bit about different events. But there's other things and other predictions that sometimes take 2 to 3 years to come into fruition. So I want to know what your opinion is down below in the comments, of course. Last few things I wanted to chat with you about today. Alec Baldwin has been indicted. And now he's selling his home and he's doing the Comic Con. I guess that's like a big expo. Comic Con to pay his legal fees. Alec Baldwin, what year did I say? He's in his 6th year in numerology, which is, definitely a re-altering of his life and his life path for sure. Likely he'll get off with probation or get off with something, a little smack and, a big fat fine that he'll have to pay. And he'll get off on that. But Alec seems to be tumbling downwards and will over the next 2 years. I wouldn't even be at all surprised to see Alec Baldwin pass away between now, 2024, and 2026. So we'll have to see how that goes. But we're going to see a lot more coming out of Hollywood. I look forward to it because, we saw it last year with the writer's strike and everything else. Spirit said Hollywood falling, big arrest out of Hollywood, that we would see another Harvey Weinstein type of situation. We'd see another laptop situation like Mr. Weiner. Anthony Weiner, that is. So, interesting. And how about the Supreme Court in the United States siding with the feds to take down the fences along the border? I find that just interesting. I just find it interesting. Like, not, if you want to protect the border, okay, and you want to make people safe, and you want to remove the razor wire, then you need to put something else in place. Like people, if that's what you want to do, you want to stop it from happening. They don't want to stop it from happening. This is a part of the United Nations plan, friends. This is happening everywhere, not just in the United States. All of Europe's getting invaded. Different places, Poland, Germany, they're all being invaded by people from the outside. And that's part of their plan, to get you all into one area, to shove everybody into one area. See, part of their plan in the end is to break United States up into separate unions and join that with Canada and Mexico, which I never see happening. The union thing may happen, but not combining with the other 2 countries. That's not going to happen. Breaking up into 4 different unions, that's their goal, that's their plan. And they want to keep you in one area. So there's a map of this actually, of parts of the world that they want to make restricted, that you're not allowed to go to anymore. That would include all the national parks out here in the West. They want to stop you from going there. Sorry, I don't know about you folks, but again, call your power back. Do that meditation, calling your power back. And remember to join me on Thursday for Stranger Things Are Happening. I got some wild stuff to show you on this week's edition of Stranger Things Are Happening, including a demon weaving in and out of protesters, spirits caught on film at an airport, all kinds of wild stuff to show you. So remember to hit that subscribe button and be a part of our tribe. Thank you, my beautiful friends, for hitting that like button and showing your love. And thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Now I got to move on to the final segment today.
You've got mail, and I am so excited that once again I got some presents and some cards and some letters to read from all of you.
I am so excited. We got so many presents and some cards and some things to open up here from all of you. Somebody sent me all the snacks, which I'll be taking with me on my trip in a couple weeks, with the sunflower seeds and trail mix and all of that. And I didn't realize that there was this in the bottom of the box. I don't know how I missed it, but I missed it. So, and I can't remember who sent that to me because I don't have that in front of me. But I want to thank you so much. And I want to thank you for your coconut castaway. What is that? Coconut. I forgot to grab my glasses. Darn it. Men's natural soap. I have so much soap, friends, and I have so much tea. So much now. So much. Thank you. Whoever that was, I don't recall. And I have a card message here from Pam and Ken in Schwanksville. This feels like a big letter, and if it's a big letter, I cannot sit here and read it all. But I will read it afterwards. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just a puffy card. That's what it is. It's a puffy love card. That's a cute card. Oh, shoot. With a donation inside and a long letter. Joseph, sending much love to you along with our appreciation for all that you do. Sharing Spirit's messages are blessings to bestow upon all of mankind. Peace, love, Pam and Ken. I'll read that message afterwards. Thank you, Pam and Ken. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. This comes from Virginia Jeffersonton. Jeffersonton? Is that what that said? Virginia. As a 20 spot falls off on the table. Monica and Ed in Virginia. I stumbled upon your YouTube prediction videos a month ago and absolutely knew this was the place for me. You are an amazing person with such a beautiful gift. Thank you for all your time and effort you put into these videos. I am so grateful. Although my husband and I are not PayPal fans, me neither, dear, me neither. I'm working. I got to get over to Stripe. I'm so busy. We wanted to contribute to your monthly VIA mail. Thank you so much, Monique, with infinite love and gratitude. And I got this big old thing here from Caroline in Redwood City, California. California, here I come. Not really. I'm not going to California. Don't message me. I'm not going to California. Not yet, anyway. I wouldn't mind going and checking out Mount Shasta, though. Eventually, in time. Oh, look at this big old thing. Woo. Love. How cute. This is one of those puffy cool cards. All right. Yeah, I'm going to have to figure out how to do this. I'll hang it up on the wall for next week's show. What's it say on there? Holding the ribbon, push the circle on the heart bottom to open. I'll do that when I'm not filming. Please. Oh, and another spot falling down on me. Ooh. Joseph, happy Valentine's Day. Oh, you beat everybody. You beat everybody to Valentine's Day. You should get a prize for that, Caroline. I love your tea time and other shows. I have been listening to you on the PA radio, Pennsylvania radio shows. You can hang this card over your door. It's a cute card too. Love, baby. I have that on a plaque in my living room, actually. And you know what? I didn't bring something to open this. Hold on. The magic of editing. This comes from Vivian in Lyndhurst, New Jersey. Be out on the East Coast sometime. I don't know when. I was going to go in April, but it is Mercury retrograde, and I prefer not to travel during Mercury retrogrades. So, maybe the end of April, early May. Oh, look how cute. He's fluffy. The Heritage Collection. Do you have a name? Does he have a name? He doesn't have a name. We'll have to give him a name. Where can we put? Let's just put you right there for now. Look, he kind of sits up like that. That's so darn cute. Oh, thank you, Vivian. What else we got here? What's in here? A bunch of candy. People are trying to make me fat, you know. I'm back to the gym and yoga, man. You can't do it to me. Is this chocolate? Godiva. Oh, why? Why'd you do this to me, Vivian? Why'd you do this to me, Vivian? 2 cool bookmarks to mark the book. There's something else in there, but let me open up this card first. Thinking of you as you say goodbye. I'm not going to read that. It's going to make me sad. I hope it helps to know if I can't wholeheartedly understand, I can wholeheartedly care. And I hope that you can somehow give you comfort. It was the little one who made the cup. Oh, she has a little one. That's got to be what this is. So her little one made something in here, huh? I love when the little ones make stuff. Honey. Organic honey. I go through a lot of honey. I use a lot of honey, sweetheart. Wait, did you say a cup? What's this? Nuts. Are you nuts? This is a candle. Wait, I wish I had my glasses. Should have grabbed them when I got up. What is this? Our Lady of Fatima. I burn these candles like crazy, actually. Like crazy. Not that one. I haven't seen that one before. Oh. 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 He got me. Oh. Sometimes I just can't help myself. Sometimes I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh my, you're trying to get me fat. You're trying to make me a chocolate gut. You're trying to give me a chocolate gut. Check this out. This is cool. I'll read your stuff afterwards when I put my glasses on in my own time, because I think your letter's going to make me sad. So, a palo shell cross necklace. Cute. I don't know what this is. A keychain. And I'm guessing she made these, or somebody made these. 2 cool crystals. I'm going to pull them out. This is really cool. Is that amethyst? It looks like amethyst. Isn't that cool? Arrowhead, I like that. I like that a lot. Quartz. Man, you got me all jeweled up with all these little presents there, Vivian. So sweet. I like this bracelet right here. I'm going to put that on right now, actually. The only problem with these is I always end up breaking them. I hope I don't with this one. See how long it'll last on my wrist. I'll be careful and I'll take it off. Thank you, Vivian. You said something about here. I was the one who made the cup. Oh, you made this. This, right? And didn't know of your photo and the owl and Mary Jean, and it was done online. Oh yeah, Vivian made this. Look at this with this cool picture, me and my girl. I'm knocking everything the heck over. Vivian, that is so kind and generous. All of y'all are so good to me, so kind, so generous. I am so grateful. All those little tips you've been sending, I've been gathering together and saving for the Gem and Mineral Show. I can't wait to go. Looking forward to it. I've been there before. It's been years, but with that said, I leave you with this, my beautiful friends. Remember, I am so grateful that you help to support this channel and make all this free content possible for everybody else. I couldn't do it without you. Thank you for clicking that like button. Remember to visit my website at spiritmanjt.com. And remember to celebrate life and celebrate you. Be kind to others as you wish others be kind to you. And be bold, be true, be kind, be you. Because you are awesome and you deserve to acknowledge your achievements in life. Until the next time, have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste. Much love.